Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Monsieur Fall from Tric Trac. Usually, it's Monsieur Jimmy. He speaks in English. My English is very, very bad, and Jimmy is great in English because it's an Englishman, but it's now in vacation. So we make the video in English for this game, Quadropolis. It's a French game with an American-French editor, Desert Wonder, Adrien from Desert Wonder. This is your logo. Welcome in this Tric Trac TV.
Thank you, Monsieur Fall.
Oh, your English is good like mine.
Yes, a very strong French accent.
So, this guy is the designer of this game.
Yes, I am.
Mr. François Grandon.
Yes, it's me.
It's you.
Yes, it's me.
I think the English audience
We love now.
from this Tric Trac TV. So, now you explain this game. This game is named Quadropolis. It's a game from 2 for 4 players.
4 players, yes.
The age minimum is 8.
8. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a simple game.
Yeah, the mechanic is simple. So the mechanic is simple,
yes.
right?
And the party? The time is 31 hours?
Yes, between 30 and
15 minutes per player.
15 minutes per player.
Basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, when I make French Tric Trac TV, I speak a lot because my French is very easy. My English is not easy, so I shut my mouth and you explain the game. Okay,
I will explain
yes,
the game.
All is your.
It's my responsibility now.
What's the name in English?
My shoulders.
Yes, all is
Yes.
in your shoulders.
Okay, so I will try to explain the game
Yes.
in English. So basically, Quadropolis is a city building game, as you can see. And the game will play in 4 rounds. And each round, the players will use their architects. So every player has 4 architects, number 1 to 4. So we can see them here. And basically, on their turn, the players will use one of the architects, send them on the construction site, and use them to pick a tile, which is a building. And they will take that tile and put it in their city. So every player receives an individual board with their city, which is empty at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
So you have 16 spots, and the game will last 4 rounds, and in every round the players will play 4 times. So basically you will take 16 different actions in the game, so you will be able to fill the city map and do the city of your dreams.
Yes. Oh, the city of my dreams is really very.
Yeah. I should say that indeed it's not necessarily the city of your dream, but it's a city that will be worth enough points to beat the other players.
I prefer this.
So it's really about competing for making the most points. So how does the game work? Basically, on their turn, a player will the active player will choose one of the 4 architects, place it around the construction site. For example, I will take my 4 here.
Yeah.
I will place it here, and I will basically take the tile that matches the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this time I will take an industry building, and the good thing about the game, which is very simple, is that the number here not only tells me which tile I take, but also where I will put it on my board.
Okay.
So basically, because I use the 4, I will be allowed to put the tile that I picked right here, either in the line number 4, that is on the top of the screen, or in the column number 4, any available spot. So for example, I will put it here. So that's basically how the game works. And for example, if Adrien plays afterwards, so what I will do, when I do that, I need to not forget to put the urbanist on the right spot where I took the tile. And the urbanist will create a constraint whereby the following player will not be able to pick a tile by pointing. So for example, if I would do that, you're not allowed to put an architect that would point, that is in the direction of the urbanist. So for example, if Adrien wants to pick that tile, he cannot use a number 2 to do so because he would be facing the urbanist. If he really wants it, he can pick it that way. 1, 2.
Okay.
And then he will be able to pick it. So it's not the line or column, it's the fact that you point to the urbanist that creates a constraint. And whenever he does that, for example, if Adrien picks that tile, so it's a 2, he will take the second one, he will put it in line or column 2, and then he will basically move the urbanist, so it will create a moving constraint as the game progresses. So that's basically how the game gets played. And now, of course, the interesting part about the game, this is the mechanic, is how the tiles work and how many points they will bring and how they will be combined to make I would say, an efficient city, a city that scores a lot of points. So I can now probably explain the different types.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't speak because not I don't understand what you say in English. I know the rules. So
you know the rules. So I will now explain to the audience maybe.
Yes, yes, yes.
So basically we are playing, I probably need to mention that we are demonstrating right now the classic version of the game. There is also an expert mode, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
So in the classic mode that we will play, 4 rounds, 4 architects, and 6 different types of buildings. So let's start with, every player gets a helper that we can show here.
I put here.
That will remind everyone how the buildings score. So I will now explain building by building. So first of all, in the game, you will find the housing buildings, the tower blocks.
Give me one.
So
I put here.
Now you have a tower block. So basically, the tower blocks, with a yellow background, they will be basically the places where your inhabitants will live. So what they do in terms of scoring is that these are the only buildings that you can stack to create tower blocks. You can stack them up to 4 tiles, and the higher the tower block is, the more points you will gain. So for example, if you have only a tower block with 1, it will be 1 point. If you stack a second one on top of it, it will be 3 points.
Put here.
Yeah. If you stack a third one, it will be 6. And if you manage to have a building that is
10.
4 floors,
is 10
it
points.
will be 10 points.
Okay.
That's the only building that you can stack. Now I will take advantage of the presentation of the tower blocks to show the basic structure of a tile. I think it is important for players to understand that. Almost every tile, we will see there are exceptions, but if you look at the left side, on top left, you will find an icon that shows what the tile brings you.
Yeah.
So whenever you take, for example, a tower block, it will come with inhabitants. Yeah. Basically, that's where your people will live in your city. In this case, you get 1 meeple. If you took, for example, that one, it would have given you 3 inhabitants. So you will take the meeples in the common stock and you would place them next to your city.
Okay.
So, and then there's another thing that you want to look at, which is at the bottom right of the tile. It shows what is the resource that is needed to activate the building at the end of the game. If you're not able to activate the building, then the building doesn't score at the end of the game. So you get the resources when you build it, when you build it, but you don't score it at the end of the game if you don't manage to activate. So basically there are 2 resources in the game, inhabitants and energy. So you have those red cylinders, and typically a tower block will require energy to be activated.
And this is industry.
So these are for the tower blocks.
Yeah. You need this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
and so we can now, for example, move to the, well, you had them, so we can stick with the industries. So a second type of building in the game is the industries. Industries have a red background, and basically I would tend to say they are the mirror of the tower blocks. They bring energy, so they're one of the main sources to get energy, and they will require, well, basically people, that is employees or workers, to be activated at the end of the game. So, because we are talking about the industries, we can explain how they score. Maybe we can use your city map. It will be easier.
Okay.
So industries...
I need to zoom out.
Industries will score when they are adjacent to other tiles that we will describe later on, which are commerce and ports. So basically, the logic behind is that an industry, it will need to sell the product. So you have either the interior demand, that is the commerce, or you have export, that is the ports. So every adjacent port, adjacency being only, not in diagonal, but just that way, direct adjacency, any port will bring 3 points, and any commerce will bring 2 points.
Okay.
So for example, if you have that type of figure, you will this industry will be worth 5 points.
Okay.
Provided, again, that they're all activated. If they're not activated, it's just as if they were not there.
Like this.
Absolutely.
And this.
So we've seen the tower blocks. The tower blocks will score depending on the height of the building. The industries will score if they have ports or commerce that are adjacent to them. Now we can continue with the commerce because we have it. Commerce themselves, they will score depending on how many customers they have. So for example, when you build tower blocks, there will be population coming in your city, and you will be able to use those meeples not only to activate buildings, but if you have some in excess, you can use them and they will become the customers of your shops. And same thing, you can have up to 4 customers in one shop, and the more you have, the more you score. So you will find it here. A commerce with 1 customer is worth 1 point. A commerce with 2 is worth 2 points. 3 customers, 4 points. and for customers, which is the maximum 7 points. So this is for commerce. And as you can see, commerce, just like the tower blocks, they will require 1 energy cylinder to be activated. So that's for commerce. Now we have the ports, so we can continue with the ports. The ports, basically, they will form either a river in your city or there will be a seafront. So this means that from a mechanic standpoint, ports will score for lines, continuous lines or continuous columns that they form. So basically, you will count at the end of the game the longest column and the longest line that you have. You can combine both. For example, in that case, I have a line with 3 continuous ports. It will be worth 7 points. If I manage to have a 4th one here, then it will be 12 points. If I do this, I have a short column of 3, a short line of 3, it will be 6 points combined. So ports, they score if they do a line or a column that is continuous. A port on its own is neither a line nor a column, so it's worth 0 points.
Okay.
And as you can see, ports are one of the types of buildings, the only type of building in the game that brings a mix of resources. So they are very interesting if you want to use them to combine, because some come with people, inhabitants, some come with energy, some come with a combination of 2, and then you will see in later rounds there are also ports coming with points.
Okay.
So basically lines or columns. There are 2 more buildings that we can now describe. I will start with the parks. So the parks are the green ones. The parks, basically, they come with nothing and they require nothing to be activated. So they are very basic to place and use in your city. And I will do this because what is important to do with the parks is that they will get points for all the tower blocks that are adjacent to them. Basically, from a thematic standpoint, it's because they will bring joy and pleasure to the inhabitants of the tower blocks. So if you have only 1 tower block that is adjacent to a park, as you will see on the helper, it will be 2 points. If you manage to put a 2nd tower block next to a park, it will bring 4 points. If you manage to have a 3rd one, it will be 7 points. And if eventually you have that type of figure with a park that is surrounded by tower blocks, it will be worth 11 points. Whatever the height of the tower block, so it can be 2 floors, 3 floors, it doesn't matter, it's the number of tower blocks that you have. So this is a way of scoring a number of points with only 1 park, for example. But it takes a lot of space in your city, of course. So parks will score with the tower blocks that are adjacent to them. And then eventually we will finish with the 6th type of building, which is the public services. Also, from a thematic standpoint, it's easy to remember the scoring pattern. The city will be more efficient if you have public services that are well spread across the board. So as you can see on your individual board, you will probably see that, you have 4 quarters with different color backgrounds. So basically, if you manage, the more public services you manage to have in the different quarters of your city, the more different districts, the more efficient it will be. So if you have only a public service in 1 district, it will be worth 2 points. If you have in a 2nd district, it will be worth 5 points. If you manage to have another one here, it will be worth 9 points. And if eventually you have a 4th public service that you will get at a later round, it will be worth 14 points. So no matter where you put them, this is definitely different quarters, but it can be like that. Doesn't matter, it has to be in different quarters. And on top of that, you will see that on the public services, they also come with points that you will add at the end of the game. So some public services are less interesting, they have no points. Some are mildly interesting, 1 point. And some are really interesting, they have 2 points. So if we sum up, we have all those 6 types of buildings, and the game, of course, will be about combining everything efficiently in a 4x4 grid. So not easy to do, but that's the challenge of the game and the fun of the game. So that's basically the concept. I will add a few things that are important to understand before we start. At the end of the game, so we said we would only count the points for the buildings that are activated. If at the end of the game you have people in excess, that is, inhabitants that are neither used to activate a building nor to be the customers of a shop, every people that is in excess is worth a negative scoring of 1 point. And the same goes for energy. If you overproduce energy, that is, you don't use it to activate a building, that will be also worth -1 point. For people, there is no way you can escape it. If you have people in excess, there's no way you can do anything, but you have the shops where you can put them. For energy in excess, if you have a virtuous approach to your city with the parks, each park is able to absorb an extra capacity in energy. This means that you won't be counted against a negative score. It will compensate for one energy in excess.
You make a big hole on
it's not a big hole.
You put your toxic déchets.
Absolutely not. It's just that because you have, green parks and stuff, people are happy.
Chlorophyll.
So it's chlorophyll. It will compensate. The term in English, chlorophyll. It will compensate for the over pollution. So that's one important thing. I think there are two more things that I would like to mention. One thing that makes sense that people will understand easily, because tower blocks can be stacked, you can also use the number on the architect that you use to build the matching floor. That is, for example, I'm in this case. I've started to build the beginning of a tower block in in column 1, line 3, with a 2. Architect number 2. I am also able, so I could build the second floor here using a 3 or a 1 because that's the basic rule. But because it's the second floor, I can also use my 2 to put the second floor.
Okay.
And it would be the same for the fourth floor. I can do it also with a 4, for example. So that's the additional rule. And one final thing. The first player will be designated at random at the beginning of the game. We'll give it to Adrien this time.
Okay.
Hope he will do better than.
Yeah, because we play in French in the.
And we'll give him a chance to win this time. And
that's so nice.
There is every round. So the first player will be designated, and if nobody does nothing, it will remain Adrien who will be the first player every round. There is an opportunity for a player who wants to change the order of the game, the turn order, to actually grab the first player marker, that is the mayor here, that we have the green pound. And there is one tile each round. That is a tower block. Not only does it come with one meeple, one inhabitant, but on top of that, you can take the first player marker from the other player. If you own it, you can also take it, keep it, and make sure that nobody takes it from you. And that's basically it.
So, all of this word is right in these rules. You see, it's very simple. And in English, and in a good English.
Wonderful.
Yes, with no accent. You read this and all is evidence. You have the expert mode, because we play the standard mode now, but when your mine is on the top of the mine gamer mine, you use the expert mode. It's not the case of Adrien.
Not yet.
I never play expert mode, it's too tough for me.
Not yet.
So we have some goodies. Where is the goodies?
This should be back there.
Yes?
Yeah. So there's two of them. One will be, this one is the goodies about the US monuments, because you have in expert mode some monuments, and you can swap the one from the base game with these, and that will be available from Board Game Geek store in April. So you can order that from there. Okay,
so this is Quadropolis. This is a new game from Days of Wonder. The game designer is François Gandon.
Yes. It's me again. Gandon.
Yeah, Gandon. G-A-N-D-O-N.
Yes.
For the English
it works.
Listener. Yeah. How does it cost?
It will cost €45 or $50.
Okay. And it come in market when?
It should be in Europe, most of the places, end of February, and in the US, early April.
So, just on the pack, we have this logo. I don't know if the English audience know this logo. Boulogne-Billancourt is a contest of designer.
Yeah.
And with this game, François,
yes,
you won the prize.
Yeah, I was given an award at the 33rd contest that was in 2014.
It's a contest of prototype.
Yes, prototype.
And Days of Wonder sees the prototype and say, I won this game.
Yeah, that's how it works. Basically, the contest organizer, they show us all the games that have been selected, and then we go there and look at them, play at them, and then if they're one interesting, we can be in touch with the designer.
So and now is the graphism is from Sabrina
Miramont.
Miramont
is a French artist that lives in London.
Yes, a nice girl.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So now you are ready for the fight?
Yes.
Yes, we have a revenge to take.
Yes, we need to,
because we play in French.
To win against François.
François win easily. It's English, easily?
Yeah.
Yes, it's English. And now I now say goodbye for the English audience, and in the next video we play to Quadropolis, and you see it's a very simple game, but it hurts the brain. Jenny Reich.